One thing I did want to say, though, to those of you that have cool season turf, I want to throw out a warning. A lot of you guys have been searching around the internet, and you've been concerned and for the last 6-8 weeks over Poa Annua, or annual bluegrass, and Poa Trivialis, which is rough stock bluegrass and is not an annual. And these things have been throwing up seeds, especially my friends through the transition zone, my friends even down into Georgia and things like that that have Bermuda grass. You've been seeing over into Texas, Oklahoma, you've been seeing a lot of this Poa Trivialis and Poa Annua coming up and seeding in your lawn. And it's been a little bit of a panic. It's been a little bit of a scare. And I've been telling you, just mow through it. We'll be fine. We're going to work on some post-emergence later. In the case of Poa Trivialis, I kind of take my hat off, turn the other way and run because there isn't a lot you can do. But I've been trying to kind of, encourage you guys through it. But now what's going to happen, and this is very important for everyone to listen to this, now what's going to happen, I'm talking to all of you friends up there in Northwest Indiana and Illinois, and even in southern Wisconsin, all the way down into southern Indiana, over into New Jersey, you guys, over that way, Pennsylvania, up into the east. You guys can picture this back over. Let's go back over to the other side of the country, and let's go to Missouri. You guys in there with these tall fescue lawns and Kentucky bluegrass lawns, all of your lawns are going to go to seed. You're going to start seeing white seed puffs everywhere, and that is not a problem. Every single year at this time of year, I get people sending me pictures where they're panicked about their lawn because there is so much white seed coming up in it, or this tan seed coming up in it, and they think it's some sort of weed infestation. And they think it's because they've been working on the lawn hard, they've been pushing it, that they've woken up some sleeping nasty giant from underneath the ground that's coming up and absorbing their lawn. Right as, because of the time of year we're talking about it is, you just started to get some encouragement. You maybe have been fighting the weeds, you've been keeping those out, you got your pre-emergent down, you're feeling solid about that, right? You're like, dude, I got pre-emergent down, I know that that's going to stop the crabgrass that I would see later, but I feel good about that. I've been fertilizing now, I know how to use my spreader properly, I'm getting really good at putting down applications, my lawn is greened up like I've never seen before. These are reports I'm getting from people all over the last couple months with cool season turf, and you're good. And then you got your mowing down, you're enjoying the mow, and the lawn is really responding. And then all of a sudden, all of these little seed puffs just come in there, and you're just like, oh my gosh. So I want you to take a breath, and I want you to realize this time of year, first week in May, this would have happened to those of you down into Kentucky with fescue. This probably would have happened to you a week and a week and a half earlier, so it might be a little late for you. And then those of you up into Wisconsin and up in that way, it might be a week later. But right in this time, if your grass goes to seed, I want you to realize this is a normal thing. This is your good grass going to seed and trying to reproduce itself. Now, I will tell you that that seed is not going to be viable in 99.9% of the cases. If it was, it's sterile. But even if it was viable, you'd have to let it grow for several weeks, maybe even a couple months, so the stalks grew up and the seeds dried off naturally and fell naturally for them to be viable. But I will tell you either way, all of the seed nowadays, it's going to be not able to reseed itself. It's going to be sterile. So that seed is not going to help you in any manner of thickening your lawn. However, you do want to get it cut off because it robs energy from the plant to create those seed pods on there. That's all energy that the plant is expending to put into those seed pods. And what we'd rather it do is stop trying to reproduce itself and then just focus on its own current state of affairs and throw out more roots and get thick and spread wide and stay and basically conserve energy, because summer is a coming and summer is not going to be easy on it. So what I don't want is for your grass to feel like all of a sudden it has to give birth and then the next day it's in hot sunlight. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. Maybe not in so strict a terms, but either way you get the point here. Now, one of the reasons that your grass is seeding, because a lot of guys will say, Alan, I've never even seen my grass do this. Are you sure, Alan? Are you sure that this is normal? And I will say yes, because you've been feeding it hard, and when you're hitting it with nitrogen, it's saying to itself, wow, we got a great food source here. We're getting some energy from this nitrogen. Let's go ahead and reproduce, because we know we got a lot of energy now. We know we have good favorable weather right now. We're feeling good. We got the energy saved up, the grass says. Let's spend it on reproducing. And you got to back it off by mowing it off and going, whoa, no. Thank you, grass. Thank you, turf, for wanting to reproduce here. Thank you for telling me, turf, that I'm feeding you good because you're reproducing as a sign of my good care of you. I'm talking to your turf right now. But no, I don't want you to do that. I don't need you to reproduce, because I want you to thicken up all on your own, my friend. I got enough kids here. Man, really taking that analogy off. But you guys are getting the point. It's hot in this garage. I don't know what we're going to do in August when I'm out here trying to do this podcast. It's noon, too. I always say I'm going to get started on the podcast at 6 a.m., and it ends up being noon before I get out here. So the long and the short of it is, though, definitely mulch the clippings, because all of that energy that's in those seeds, I want you to mulch that back down in. Let's get that back down into the soil. And then definitely make sure you're mowing twice a week now for sure to cut those stalks off. The other thing that'll do is it'll help that production to stop quicker, and because the stalks, when they're cut, they don't look good. Even if your blade is sharp, the stalks, they'll shred. And so the one way to get through that point, it's a little bit of a pain point for some of you guys for a while. That's the other thing. People will think their lawnmower's not working right. They'll think their blade's not sharp. They'll sharpen their blade like 3 times in a row, when really it's just those seed stalks are just hard on it. So you want to get through that as quick as you can, so just mow them off, just mow them down. And that's another reason why this time of year is important, because Kentucky Derby is always kind of a flashpoint to say, if I'm seeing a ton of these, what I think seed stalk weeds in the lawn are, it's probably normal. Now, one other thing you can do is my friend the Grass Daddy. If you guys know Grass Daddy Tim, he's got a channel on YouTube. You can just go to YouTube and search Grass Daddy. It comes up. Freaking great channel. He's up in the Northeast, and he has a famous picture. So what you're going to want to search is Grass Daddy lawn seed heads, something like that. I'm giving you some Google searches. You can do these on YouTube, or Grass Daddy Poa Annua versus Kentucky Bluegrass. Search things like that in YouTube. He has a very famous photo that everybody shares around that shows the difference in the seed heads, because Kentucky Bluegrass seed heads and Poa Annua seed heads do have a differing appearance and a differing kind of habit in the way they splay out or display themselves. So he's got a real famous picture that you can look at there if you want to do a double check. And you should subscribe to his channel while he's there. This is his picture. If you're on YouTube, this is his sticker here. I also do have a video myself, if you want to just search in YouTube, why is my grass going to seed? You can search that in YouTube, and you will see my turf type tall fescue lawn. Now, it's from a couple years ago, and you will see that lawn in full seed, and it is the video that I am doing of this here, trying to help people or warn folks not to panic. So if you do want to go to YouTube and search my video that I did showing turf type tall fescue in seed, go ahead and search why is my grass going to seed on YouTube, and you'll find it. Either way, though, we are going to break this up as well into a separate version for you, or a separate clip for you, so you can share this. The idea being, we don't want people unnecessarily panicking out there, because this, after all, is just lawn care. Now,